Hi there. I'm Nancy from Black Sheep Knitting here in Needham, Massachusetts, in my yarn shop, and we do this weekly podcast to show you what's going on in the shop, to try to give you helpful hints to make you better knitters and crocheters, which we love. And oh, by the way, speaking of crochet, did people see Taylor Swift in her crocheted, I think it was a dress, she was there with her boyfriend Travis, and I'm not sure where she was, but it's been all over Instagram, I think, and it seems like somebody put out a pattern for it. They weren't colors that I loved, but I love that crochet is becoming so popular and it's back in vogue, and I love that people are doing it. Okay, off that topic. Wanted to talk today about something we talk about all the time, and that's blocking. And people have lots of questions about blocking. The first thing is, when you do a swatch, which I recommend if you want really to have good results, that you do a good size swatch. And I mean, at least 4 by 4. And you should pay attention to what stitch you should do the swatch in, what stitch the gauge is. If it's a cabled sweater, then you got to do it in cables to get your swatch correct. You also, and we showed this before, if you're knitting in the round, do your swatch in the round. If you're not, and it says stockinette, to do it in stockinette, which is knit 1 row, purl 1 row. I recommend that you put garter stitches at the bottom, which means knit, 4 or 5 rows, and have a border on each side of 4 or 5 garter stitches. Then do your stockinette in the middle. And people often ask, how many stitches do I cast on? Well, if it says your gauge should be 26 stitches over 4 inches, I would cast on 34 or 36. Cast on a good number. And don't be lazy, which we all can be. I'm lazy as all get out. My motto is never do today what you can put off until tomorrow. But a swatch is not shouldn't fit into that category. So do a good amount, because your gauge can change. I think sometimes people are in a hurry to get them done, and then you don't get an accurate measurement. You should then block your swatch. So wash it, block it. It doesn't take long to dry. Generally, you could put it outside in the sunshine, or throw a hairdryer on it or a fan. It'll dry quickly enough. So why should I block my piece? Well, there are a couple of really good reasons. One, if you're knitting anything that has lace on it, you're going to want to block it, because when you knit it, it's never knit to look like the lace it's supposed to. It needs to be blocked out so that you can see the actual pattern. And that's really important. We do blocking here in the shop, but we do recommend people learn to do it themselves. Doesn't take long. I put my whatever I'm blocking, I put into a sink with cool water and some eucalyptus, let it sit for half an hour a day, whatever works for me. And then if I use eucalyptus, I don't have to rinse it out. And then I wrap it in a towel, and remember, I've always told people, don't do this with it, because it's going to stretch. Some of the yarns will stretch right down to the floor. Keep it compact. And couple reasons you want to block. Now, you don't always have to, and sometimes I steam block things, but if you want your stitches to be more even, if you want to stretch something out a little bit, if you want your seams to look a little better, if you want your ribbing to look a little better, I would always block rather than not block. You can use blocking pins, or sometimes I even, if it's a piece that doesn't need a lot of like stretching or anything. I just put it on my Coco Knits blocking boards, pads, whatever you call them. We carry them in the shop.
Mats.
Mats. Thank you, Robin. And then I just stretch it out to be the way that I want it. I remember hearing, I want to say it was Andrea Mowry one day said, was she or someone else, that they took sometimes a half an hour or more to get it blocked just the way they wanted it. So if you think about it, you put all that time and effort into it. Think how long it took you to make whatever you're making. Why not get it blocked so that it looks decent? So I do recommend you block your swatches, you can steam block things. You can put a damp towel over your piece and steam over it. Don't put your iron directly on, particularly don't put it on acrylic, you'll melt it. But don't do that. And your pieces will benefit. Another reason for blocking is if you wash it after you've done it, sometimes the fibers bloom a little bit. Having dyed a ton of yarn, I don't understand that concept, because if you knew how much water gets into the yarn in the dyeing process, it's a ton. But I still think after it's been dyed, after it's been knit, it benefits from a nice wash, particularly if you've worked on something for a year, which happens. In all that time, it gets oils from your hands and stuff. Or if Cheetos, Robin says Cheetos. I don't eat Cheetos when I knit.
I don't either.
But some people do. I saw somebody who had some gadget. Honestly, I think they had a thing with a long thing with a clothespin on it, and you could get the Cheeto and then put it in your mouth without touching it. Without getting it on your. It was really funny. I don't know how they rigged it up, but it was kind of funny.
One quick question about superwash blocking. I always steam block my superwash.
Oh, Robin says she always steam blocks her superwash. Superwash does have a tendency to grow because it's been stripped of all those little fibers that keep it together.
Thinking of you, Rios.
So yeah, Rios is one that can be a problem. So steam blocking, that might be a good idea. If you do wash it, you want to keep it very compact the whole time. You don't ever want to get it to get larger. I did once reblock something from someone who had blocked a blanket, had taken it to the dry cleaners, which is what we used to do back in the day, and have them block it, and it was 3 strips, and it came back in 3 different sizes, and the fringe on the bottom had felted. So I told the customer, I said, if you soak it all, bring it to me in a garbage bag, I will block it for you. So I re-blocked it, and I was able to get them all back to the same size with a lot of sort of fudging. But you can do that.
And you can throw it in the dryer.
Well, yeah, and if it's not quite right, you can throw it in the dryer. I've done that. I wanted to tell you about what I'm wearing, which I don't remember, but I'll look it up and have Robin put the pattern on this video. But it is made in a DK, and it's a great short sleeve sweater that I really loved making. It was a lot of fun, and it's done in a DK cotton. It was done in I think it was Lang soft cotton, which we don't carry it any longer, and I don't know if they still have it. But we have what I would recommend to do it in is the Amano Sammy or Lena. Lena's flying out of the shop like hotcakes. I need to order. I ordered some yesterday, but I think I need to order more. Okay, enough said of that. If you remember the Arrows Up shawl from Trendsetter, we have the pattern here. I don't think you can get it online. And it was in those beautiful colors. Well, we got in another new color the other day, This is called Fruity, and look at the colors in that. So I thought, well, what would be fun to do with that? And I dug out one of my favorite projects that we've had in the shop for a long time, and that's the easy folded poncho, which this one was done in, I believe, a yarn called Chai, which is discontinued. It was a linen blend from Barocco. And what we did, I think it was a recommended needle size of 6 or 7. We did it on an 8 and blocked it out quite a bit. And this is a wonderful piece for the summer. So I thought, wouldn't it be fun to do one of these colorful, these great colors there. And this yarn, it's a cotton. It is super, super soft. So I thought that would be fun. And then I started thinking about, well, what other colors would be fun? So I showed you this already. This is Natsumeki and this is a cotton, silk, and polyamide. So for those of you who don't want scratchy and don't want wool, these would be really, really fun to do if you want some color for summer. This beautiful one. I've shown these before, but I'll just quickly show them again. Robin came up with a pattern for the Natsumeki called the Ogasuwara Tee. Anyway, it's a really cute tee with a little bit of lace here in the yoke, and apparently it's just two identical squares somehow sewn together and then sleeves added.
But you do join it around.
You join it at some point. It looks like fun. So if you're looking for something to do with this really fun, colorful yarn. I love knitting with yarns like this because as you knit and the colors come up, it just makes it more fun. And then other things that I recommend are any of the yarns with linen would be great, or cotton, any of the Zooey colors. This is Zooey in a white, and what wouldn't be better over a summer dress or a sleeveless dress? If you just want to cover your shoulders, something like this is great. And this is a great, I think, great sort of summer knit. This would be great during the Olympics because all it is knit one row, purl one row. You just knit for 50 inches, I believe, knit and purl for 50 inches. And you could, I suppose if you wanted, you could even do this in a garter stitch. But this is done in stockinette, and I highly recommend it. So I have some other yarns here, which I would recommend as well. I was showing this because I'm jumping all over the place. Sorry, folks. I finished my Johnny sweater. I think it's called Johnny. I was calling it Joni, and then somebody said Johnny. But this is from Natasha Hornby, and I think she's just a fabulous designer. So I had worked on this and found a couple of mistakes and ripped it out and had to start over. So I ripped out. But I did finally finish. Yeah, and this I blocked, and I had to do it. If I hadn't blocked it, you would not see this beautiful lace. And if you want a fun, sort of quick summer knit, this one is a good one. You could, some people had added long sleeves but she has another one out, the name of which escapes me at the moment, but she has another long sleeve design out that you could use. So the reason I bring this up at this point is I did it in the Noro Sonata, and since I started it, we got other colors in, and oh wow. And I think Agnes, you'll see, we're going to show it at some point, Agnes made a little tank out of it. She probably did it in about, she's going to make it into a dress. Golly, I wish I could knit like she does or as fast as she does, but I don't. And you know, you are what you are. So this one This color is magenta. Had I seen this before, I might have. So I'm showing this because I think this yarn would also work for this easy folded poncho. And I think you would like it. This is cotton, silk, again, cotton, silk, and polyamide. It's it's just a really nice fiber to knit with. So here are some of the colors. This is crocus. And some of us, when we did the easy folded poncho, because I did a bunch of them, I did color blocking, I did striping. You can play with a lot of things with it. This one is cerulean. That's a beautiful summer top with white pants. Wouldn't that be nice? This is the color that I did, called moss. This one, I could see a nice long sleeve sweater out of this. I think I like this a lot. Cherry blossom. And they're kind of tonal if you look at them. This is a gorgeous color for summer. Waterfall. And Oasis. This is Agnes color. And come to some neutrals. Pebble. And this beautiful snow white. It's called Snow, and it's really, really white, which is so cool, nice in the summer to wear. Like I'm wearing this white. I love this. And Sky is another one. Did want to welcome some new viewers that got in touch with us. Kevin from British Columbia, Dina from Melbourne, Australia, Carol from Santiago, Chile, wow, and Denise from Springfield. I assume that's Springfield, Mass. Okay, but thank you. Remember to subscribe. That helps us. We love it, and we love new viewers. I wanted to show you, I have another finished object. Sorry to keep saying that's not quite right to do, but this is the Tolsta Tee, another Rebecca Clow pattern. Now, if you look on her at the patterns, she does lots of different striping. She does eyelets. She does a lot of different things. So I decided to come up with my own idea. And what I did was I started with the white. Then I did 4 rows of blue, 4 rows of white. So I did those 3 rows. Then I went to 8 rows, an 8-row sequence. Then this is, I think, 16 rows, and then I just knit blue at the end. And I repeated the stripes here, and then at the end of this I did the blue. But this tee fits really well. It's a simple knit, and there's so many options for what you can do. You could do big color blocks. You could have like 3 big colors. You could make your stripes wide. You could make them small. There are just so many options. And if you find a pattern that fits you well, don't hesitate to do it again. And if you're using different colors, it won't be boring to do it twice. I did the Winslow tees 3 times, although it got boring because 2 of them I did in the same color. But one, which I think is behind me, I did in stripes. And this is another striped version of the Tolsta Tee. And this is done, it's interesting. This was knit at a looser gauge than I would have knit the Lana. And I actually took it home and washed it, put it in the washer and the dryer, and it came out great. So it's a nice loose, knitting it kind of at this looser gauge is really nice for the summer because it's very drapey and it's cool. And again, this is a cotton and linen.
Did you do the bust darts that she
I did
calls
not.
for?
She called for bust darts.
Well, she has this interesting thing where you measure on top and you measure
You
here,
could
and
do,
it goes less
yeah.
than 2 inches.
Yeah, you can fiddle around with that stuff, but that's not my jam. So, wanted to show you some options in the Zooey, because the Zooey colors are,
I get it.
okay, I think are just yummy. So I did this blue and white, which I loved. Something like blue and white in the summer. You could do the blue with this creamier white, but they have the creamy color and the white. This is called Pearl, which would also go with this. How about this? You know, for just a light summer weight. This one, actually I'm showing this, but I just discovered this is they got rid of this color, which just makes me sad. I ordered a new color, a new similar color, not as good. Yeah. I ordered more of this, which just came in, and this is called Rigging. I made a top out of this, a lacy top, a couple of years ago, and I really liked it. And it's fun. It was a lacy top that I wore over a sleeveless dress, and it just looked great. But these colors are nice. This is nice. I'd even do this. And I love crazy combinations. Don't be afraid to, step outside the box a little bit. This is a darker blue called Mainsail. And this one is Twilight Blue, so they're different. This one, which I just love, is called Sloop. And then this one is Acrylic Blue, Arctic Blue, excuse me, not acrylic. That's a nice combination, I think. And then they came out with, this year or last year, with their, they call it Zooey Spray, and these are multicolored. So there are these three options, and some people have been putting the, doing stripe with the spray colors and a solid.
Great.
So there's an option. And there's certainly a ton of summer tees out there to do. I asked for votes what I should do my Luminous tee in, or the Luminous little t-shirt. And I showed, and Robin said to me, oh, they all chose Stephen West. I said, Stephen West? But then she reminded me that I had shown a yarn that was dyed for Stephen West. As it turned out, in the end, I think I chose The Farmer's Daughter.
That was a close runner-up.
It was a close runner-up, but the most votes were for the Stephen West colorway. I haven't started it. I'm waiting to finish two things that I'm working on. And I'll show you what they are, and you've seen them. So you've seen me working on my Leith cardigan. And I have to say I've had a lot of fun doing this. And so I opted, as you saw before, I opted to just do these big bold stripes. And then I got to the sleeves and thought, I had an idea for the sleeves, and when I started it, I didn't like it. And so then, this isn't a bad idea to do. These aren't great drawings, but I have this notebook that I keep that has all kinds of notes in. And so I just did some little sketches with what to do on the sleeves. Drawings aren't great, but so I've been playing around and still haven't decided. So I'm going to start knitting with the white and see what comes up. I just don't know what's going to happen. The other project that I've been doing and really loving, and I have to say, these cottons, I just have to give a shout out to how much I'm enjoying knitting with them. So I think I showed this pattern before, and one of the problems you get into is you see a beautiful top on a beautiful model, and you forget, I don't really look like that. And so it's like, yeah, I don't know if I'm going to look like that. But I decided to do it anyway. It's the Sub-I top #1. And what I chose to do it in. I wanted a black sleeveless top, which I'll probably never wear without something over it because I got a lot of scars on my, anyway. But I started it, and it's really a fun project. So you start, I started with the back. They tell you to start with the front. I didn't do that because I never do what I'm supposed to do. But anyway, it's, you start in the round and you do stockinette, and then you do ribbing here, and then you divide, no, you put the back or the front, whichever, on hold, and you knit down with this very cool ribbing. So this is your sleeve, for your sleeveless top. So you have this very cool ribbing on the side. The rest is stockinette. And you knit down a certain amount, and then you do some increases on the edge on either side for the sleeve, and then you put that on hold and you start on the other side. So I'm not quite at the point where I'm going to increase, but I have to say, sometimes you get a pattern or get yarn and needles and a pattern that just are magical for you, and this is one of them. And I hate to say this because I don't carry these in the shop anymore, but I love if you have them, and they get it's the Addy lace. Oh, the air conditioner stopped. How nice. The Addy lace, Addy Turbo lace needles, and they get this coating on them, which is really obnoxious. It comes off once you start knitting with it, and then you just have this lovely shiny surface to knit with. And so knitting this in this pattern is just, for me, it's joyful knitting, and I'm really loving it. So I'm doing this in the modern cotton. I think it will take, might just be 2 skeins. I bought 3, but it could be just 2. We'll see, depending on how long I make it. But it's just a pleasure to knit, and it makes this really, really nice fabric with great stitch definition. So I pulled some colors of the modern cotton off the wall, and this is called Elms. Nice bright green, and this is Viola and Abbott Run. Good summer colors, I think. And who doesn't love pink? This is called Waterfire. And jeepers, Goddard. Don't know what that is. And Matunuck. Matunuck is a beach in Rhode Island. Maybe they say Matunuck. I forget. This is Waterman Pond. Actually, as I think of it, these are all sort of Rhode Island places or things.
Everything.
Yeah. Rosecliff. So Barocco is in Rhode Island, so maybe that's why they.
Yes, we are promising that you'll look like the model if you do that.
Exactly. If you knit this, you'll look like her. That's what I keep telling myself. Though the diet started yesterday. So those are a lot of fun. I don't have a lot of other things other than, let's see, I have decided to offer a workshop, a couple, maybe more than one, workshops in yarn dyeing this summer. So if you've ever wanted to dye yarns, we've done it before. We've done it here in the basement, and I think that's probably what we'll do again. And you'll have an option to dye probably maybe a couple fingering weights and maybe a DK weight yarn. So you'll be able to dye 2 or 3 skeins of yarn. You'll learn about how to do it, how to mix colors, and so on. I think each class will be limited to 8 or 10, but I'll offer, if there's interest, I'll offer a few of them. So Those will probably may happen on a Sunday afternoon. I'm not sure. I have to look at my schedule, but stay tuned. And you can see Robin's brought some of my hand dyes. These are some, gosh, this is a Leith weight that I dyed. And so this is a solid, it's got a little hint of another color in it. And this is a semi-solid. This is a sock weight color yarn. This is also a sock weight. And this is not mine.
Sorry.
And this is a sock weight. This is a fun yarn. This is it's called Superwash, Merino Superwash Slub. And then behind
what would you
me,
be using as a base?
there'll be wools. I only dye wool or animal fibers. I don't dye cellulose fibers or plant fibers. Here are some, this is one of my favorite yarns, which is what we might have.
Beautiful.
This is a deep DK cashmere blend. It has about 10% cashmere. So these are, so I'll show you how to do things like speckles or, you know, multicolors or tonals. These are tonals. Here's one that's speckled and a little bit of tonal. So keep an eye out for those workshops. They're fun. You get to be, you know, you can come and just let loose with color. It's I find yarn dyeing just to be so much fun, and it's so creative and it's so easy to do. So stay tuned. The other thing, our Rebecca Clow knit along is still going. People are knitting some really nice things. So I did I'm on my second one. So the second one is my Leith cardigan, and I finished my Tolsta tee. So do join us on Friday afternoons from 3 to 5. And she has offered a free pattern, a couple free patterns. I'm not sure, I don't know the details, but we'll, for some prizes. So we'll let you know about that. I think that might be all I have to say. I'm talked out, imagine. Anyway, I hope you have a great week of knitting and crocheting. Learn a new skill. That's a good idea for this week. Teach yourself something new. Someone asked me, well, how would I find that? Well, Google is your friend. All you need to do if you want to say how to do a 3-needle bind off, put it in Google and it will come up. And there's videos on all of those things. People do tutorials.
We have tutorials.
And we now have tutorials.
And
Giovanna
website.
is doing these. She's just amazing person, and she explains things beautifully. She's an impeccable knitter. So we have tutorials. We're doing them maybe around once a week. I'm not sure how often they'll go.
And they're on the
But
website.
they are on our website. So you
For the
can
Leith
go
cardigan.
to our website and you can see she has one for the Leith cardigan about how to do the button band in double
Mattress
knitting
stitch.
and mattress stitch. She has a wonderful tutorial on mattress stitch because some people find it difficult. If you watch this, you will be thrilled at how easy it is if you do exactly what she tells you. So keep an eye out for those. Those are really good.
And thank you to Pia in the Netherlands
Thank you to Pia in the Netherlands
for suggesting that I put all the patterns on the description for YouTube, which I now do.
Say that again,
all
Robin.
the patterns that we show
Yeah.
in the video are listed in the description underneath the video on YouTube.
Ah, yes. Pia, thank you for suggesting that. So all the patterns we talk about in the videos are listed at the bottom. And I know a lot of
And the yarns.
and the yarns. A lot of podcasters do that. So Robin is just magical that she does that. We really appreciate her cuts. It would be way beyond me to be able to do that. Anyway, again, as I said, have a great week of knitting, learn something new, and we'll see you next time. Bye.